I'm Craig Dewar. I'm the Senior Examination Manager for Scottish Police Services in the Forensic Services area in Glasgow. One of our major difficulties in popular television has been the onset of programmes like CSI, Silent Witness, Wire in the Blood, programmes like that. Whilst there have been undoubtedly some benefits from our perspective, they've presented us serious problems. CSI is not representative of how we do our daily business within a scene of crime unit, and the public perception is now more focused on the popular television programmes than the reality of what's involved in providing a scene of crime service. One of the negatives that these television programmes present to us is that they're very much glitz and glamour. They're very high-tech and reliant on significant investment in terms of equipment and functions. A spin-off to our benefit, however, is that it's made people realise that we have a capability within scenes of crime to use technology to our advantage and to assist the judicial process and bringing people to justice. Forensic science encompasses a whole range of disciplines. It's become a sexy phrase for the way police investigate complicated crime. In reality, forensic science encompasses some basic science functions, most notably chemistry and biology. Chemistry encompasses a whole range of issues which includes things like ballistics, firearms residues, glass, drugs analysis, whereas biology more focuses on biological materials such as blood, semen. So, as you can imagine, biology deals with person-specific evidence, whereas chemistry deals with speculative and more kind of physical evidence attached to victims and culprits. Provision of a forensic science service doesn't come without cost. By its very nature, it's reliant on intensive technologies, expensive technologies. It's reliant on experienced staff with the skills and experience that give them credibility throughout the judicial process. And it's reliant on breakthrough technologies, as we're seeing day and daily with the likes of DNA, much in the same way as colour televisions were very, very expensive when they were introduced in their birth, if you like. New forensic services are likewise very, very expensive. One of the advantages of the media projecting forensic services into the limelight has been making people more aware of what's available and raising people's expectations, if you like, as to what forensic services can do in a case. All of that comes at a cost. All of it comes at a cost in terms of finance and time. As an example, there are many and numerous different DNA analysis processes. Some are faster, some are more well defined than others, and at the high end some are speculative and come with a significant cost. It's not a case of putting a piece of DNA bearing material into a machine, pressing a button and getting a result an hour later. It can be many hours later, and subsequent to that it can be reliant upon a very intense staff-based examination which can take many, many days. All of that attracts its own staff costs, but there is undoubtedly a process cost involved in that as well. So to process a simple DNA sample to come up with a DNA profile can cost around £100 or less perhaps. In a complex case where you're relying on some of the lesser used or the more sensitive processes, it can be very, very cost intensive, running into many thousands of pounds. In terms of the future, I think the future's got some fantastic potentials for us. We need to buy into them cautiously in the justice system, because we need to have the buy-in from the justiciary, the court system, the prosecution and the defence. So we need to be cautious how we do it. But there are fantastic opportunities there which will let us use electronic technology to speed up the transfer of information between all these people, to provide the evidence in such a simple way that there's no specialism required to produce it in court. All it takes is the use of a technician in court and a screen. But at the same time, bear in mind that we're dealing with juries and members of the public whose grasp of what we're trying to portray needs to be fully understood. We need to understand that if we're portraying a complex issue to the court, we need to do it in such a simplistic way that in a matter of seconds, people can get a grasp of it and understand what we're trying to get the message across to them. We need to make sure that they understand fully what our message is, and more importantly, how it relates to what they're sitting there to do in terms of established guilt or otherwise. It's wrong to mock the television programmes which have got us to the stage we're at today. Truth be told, they're presenting ideas for the future for us. It would be wrong to ignore the message that they're trying to get across in the hour that they have to get their message across to the public. But at the same token, we need to make sure that what we're doing is trustworthy and reliable. Future lies in things like television presentations to the public. They sow the seeds for ideas. What we need then is for the developers and the manufacturers to go out and develop these ideas into products which we can use. It's important to remember that the forensic services you see us routinely providing today will not be the same as they are going to be in 4 years' time. Forensic services is evolving. 20 years ago, forensics within police work was a notion. It's here now. What we're doing now is regenerating and continually progressing on to new technologies, making the best of what's available, buying into it, seeing how it works for us, and applying it to the science. I think the opportunities for forensics within the future are fantastic.